Good evening. I'm Micah Ullman.
And I'm Cher Calvin. More than 20 people hospitalized after their bus rolled over along Highway 330 coming down from Big Bear.
We have learned the bus was returning from a church retreat when the brakes caught fire going downhill. KTLA's Gene Kang reports from Santa Ana.
Hi there. This church youth group says angels were watching over them instead of flying off of a cliff. They're now recovering and picking up their luggage here at the Santa Ana church. An overturned bus on State Route 330 near Running Springs, 3 dozen young people heading home after a church retreat when their bus suddenly lost its brakes.
And then I woke up and then I just heard the bus driver say the brakes in Spanish. And then I turned to my sister and I was like, what does he mean, the brakes?
Passengers say the brakes didn't work, so the driver tried the emergency brakes. When that failed, the driver aimed for a boulder instead of the cliff.
And then he turned the steering wheel to the side, and that's why and then it flipped and then it slid. I kind of lost conscience, and then I just woke up and then I was in shock. My body was in shock. My mind went blank.
Ariana Rivera woke up with her sister on top of her. They started praying.
We prayed in Our Father to them in the moment, because everyone was like, oh, I'm bleeding, like, oh, we're hurt, like, get us out of here, like, they were all panicking.
Miguel was following that bus when he saw the brakes sparking.
The driver that I was with, he was flashing the high beams. And then once he saw the car, the back brake lit up on fire, that's when he just started honking like crazy.
Passengers pulled themselves out. Good Samaritans helped. 20 were hospitalized, 3 of them with severe wounds.
It's a miracle that everyone's alive. Like, no, there's no one deceased. Everyone's alive.
Our Lady of Guadalupe Church says this is a miracle. All 36 people survived. CHP is now investigating what went wrong with those brakes. Reporting here in Santa, Gene Kang, KTLA News.
A judge has denied a motion to dismiss charges against Frazier Bohm, who prosecutors say was going 104 miles an hour when he crashed into 3 parked cars on PCH in 2023, killing 4 Pepperdine sorority sisters. In an April hearing, Bohm's attorneys argued prosecutors had chosen to take the fact of a tragic car accident and charge them as murder. They say Bohm, who was 22 at the time, was not under the influence when he slammed into those parked cars.
Sky 5 over an hours-long multi-county pursuit of a female driver in a stolen minivan. The vehicle was first reported stolen from Thousand Oaks around 10:30 a.m. Police in Moore Park spotted the vehicle and attempted a traffic stop. Instead, the driver fled, hitting 118, 405, and 5 freeways, evading authorities and a spike strip. CHP called off the pursuit 3 hours later when the driver, reportedly suffering a mental health crisis, reached the Mexico border.
The California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation is on the hunt tonight for an inmate who escaped Sunday from the Francisquito Conservation Camp in L.A. County. 33-year-old Alejandro Tobar Fuentes was discovered missing around 10 p.m., prompting an immediate prisoner count. Tobar Fuentes is described as 5'5". He was serving a sentence of 4 years and 8 months for first-degree burglary and displaying a forged driver's license or ID.
A North home seized by the DOJ in connection with a corruption scheme involving former Supervisor Andrew Doe has sold for $1.1 million. Pending DOJ approval, Orange County could see that money returned in the next 3 months. Officials seized a second property, this one in Santa Ana, in connection with Doe's $10 million bribery scheme. Doe is serving a 5-year prison sentence. The Senate has officially passed legislation to end the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. In the final procedural vote on the funding package, 60 senators supported it while 40 opposed.
And now it moves to the House. KTLA's Sarah Welch joins us now from the newsroom with the latest. Sarah.
Micah, hi, good evening. Tonight, the government is one step closer to reopening, and House Majority Leader Mike Johnson has already called House lawmakers back to Washington for a final vote to get the government operations up and running, hopefully by midweek.
To all my colleagues, Republicans and Democrats in the House, you need to begin right now returning to the Hill.
The House Speaker calling lawmakers back for a vote after the Senate moves closer to getting the government reopened.
This was the only deal on the table.
8 Senate Democrats broke ranks, joining Republican colleagues after 14 failed attempts. Those Democrats now facing intense backlash from their own party.
Many of my friends are unhappy. They think we should have kept our government closed indefinitely to protest the policies of the Trump administration.
I need a moratorium on the punishing of the federal workforce. That's what I need. And so I joined this group to make sure that we could get important protections for federal employees.
The vote 60-40, the minimum needed to pass. The package would resume funding the government at current levels through the end of January and pay for SNAP and other benefits for the entire year. It also reverses layoffs of federal workers and ensures they receive back pay.
And I'm grateful that the end is in sight.
Some Senate Democrats finally have stepped forward to end the pain.
Ending the shutdown would get air traffic controllers back to work and paid. Thousands have called out, causing major flight delays and cancellations. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer opposes the deal that doesn't address health insurance and extending subsidies under the Affordable Care Act.
The last 41 days have exposed the depths of Donald Trump's cruelty.
President Trump approves of the pending deal.
We have support from enough Democrats, and we're going to be opening up our country. It's too bad it was closed, but we'll be opening up our country very quickly.
Now, as part of this bipartisan compromise, the Democrats have been promised a separate vote in December on extending those subsidies for the Affordable Care Act that are set to expire at the end of the year. Sharon, Micah, back to you.
All right, Sarah, thank you. California Attorney General Ron Bonta joined 22 other AGs today filing an emergency motion to block an attempt by the Trump administration to undo SNAP payments already dispersed to millions of Americans. Some states, including California, began issuing full SNAP benefits last week following a court order for the USDA to fully fund the program. But Friday, the Supreme Court allowed the administration to temporarily withhold some SNAP funding.
Every American should be outraged that the billionaire sitting in the White House would go to such extreme lengths, expend this much energy to prevent hungry Americans from getting food.
Bonta says taking back funds could pose a huge logistical challenge. The USDA had sought to fund 65% of food stamp benefits amid the shutdown.
More than 2,100 flights around the nation were canceled today as the government shutdown dragged on. Private aircraft traffic is also now being scaled back. On Friday, the FAA reduced the number of flights at major U.S. airports by 4% to take pressure off the air traffic controllers who continue to work without pay because of the shutdown.
With more on the shutdown as the legislation now makes its way back to the House, we are joined once again by Irvine Congressman Dave Mann. Congressman, good of you to take the time and be with us. Some strong reaction on your X account after last night's quote-unquote deal. You called this capitulation, not a deal, calling the move by those 8 Senate Democrats shameful and derelict and saying they surrendered. You're not holding back.
Look, it really wasn't a deal. A deal is when you get something, right? And unfortunately, we did not get anything in this deal. So I've looked at this. I'm going to be voting no on this when it comes to the House, if it comes to the House. And let's be clear what's really at stake here. We're talking about hundreds of dollars a month, thousands of dollars a month in increased health insurance costs. That's what this is about, on top of the $900 billion in Medicaid cuts that are forthcoming in 2027 that are already starting to hit the paychecks of people that I represent. And we saw a shameful attempt by Donald Trump and Mike Johnson in this administration to try to ratchet up the pain. In fact, I think that was the exact quote from Speaker Mike Johnson. The pain register is going to hit level 10, keep the pressure up on Democrats. They were using hungry people and delays in our air traffic to try to create pain on average Americans. This was all a negotiating tactic for them. And this is a shame because, you know, I think the American people spoke very clearly earlier last week on Tuesday. Every single county, I believe, had massive turnarounds. This was a referendum on the cruel and immoral policies of Donald Trump and Mike Johnson. And I think what they were sending was a very clear message. Costs are too high. We need to do something about the cost of health insurance. Stay the course. And so it's very unfortunate to see what happened here.
Well, speaking of Speaker Mike Johnson, today he said that this was, quote, really a shutdown about nothing, saying that the deal is effectively what the House GOP offered back in September with some new appropriations attached as it now extends into January. So if that is the case, then what was the last 40 days about? What did Chuck Schumer and Democrats at large walk away with?
So I believe you'll have to talk to the Senate Democrats about what they got, but the 8 who voted for it. But, they got a vote on the ACA tax credits. And that was the central issue, of course, why Democrats were not voting for this. And I just want to point something out here. I represent a swing district. I won one of the closest in the country. I am a type Democrat that trying to lobby to try to get my vote. I was not approached one time to get my vote on any of the legislation this year. So for Republicans to say, the Democrats are not voting for stuff, they never asked for our votes. They never tried to work across the table. Mike Johnson has kept us out of session for 7 weeks now. We've been collecting paychecks. I refused my paycheck. I think it's wrong that members of Congress get paid while federal workers are not getting paid right now. But Republicans are getting paid. They've had a 7-week vacation. There's been zero negotiation. And so what was this about? This was about cruelty. It was about trying to use hungry kids